favorites and fabulously fun.
Is this real life?
Best of all, your comments.
That was a real money saver. Thanks, Randall.
So did it work out for you?
Your hotel tip was spot on.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. But don't just sit there. It's an interactive program, honey.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Pick your pleasure. Tweet, chat, post, email, even call us on the telly. Whatever works for you. Our topics today: food, drinks, travel, and a whole lot more fun. So let's pop the cork on this thing and get the party started. Give it up now for our fantastic host, the wonderful and talented Mr. Randall White.
I think that's the champagne talking.
Hey, and a good morning, everyone. Great to have you listening this morning as we discuss current trends in food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism. We are broadcasting live, as we always do, from the Eat, Drink, Explore studios right here in historic downtown San Luis Obispo. If you're watching via our app or on Ustream or via eatdrinkexplore.com, you can see got some cloudy skies behind us here right now, but that'll likely burn off, and we should have some very pleasant temperatures compared to the rest of the nation, for sure. We try to keep it fun, healthy, and sustainable here at Eat, Drink, Explore Radio so you can get the most out of your precious, and it is very precious, leisure time. Our goal is to make sure that you are informed at the end of the day. Now, just ahead on today's program, we are giving you tips on finding food, beverage, and travel products all made in the good old USA. That's harder than you would think to find those things. Also, our Patty Pyburn is currently in Europe, so we'll catch up with her and learn about a seldom visited area of Spain, at least for Americans, and the cuisine of that area. Patty's been sharing pictures with us, and wow, it looks delicious. We're also talking cruise bargains for our travel deals segment. And then next hour, we're taking a look at a new study on low-carb diets. We'll have a dietitian here in studio and the person who wrote the response to this study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, or JAMA as they call it. That person will be on the line, so we'll really have some great diet information for you coming up. Now, we want to let you know that this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by Eberly Winery in Paso Robles, open daily, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., complimentary wine tasting and cave tours. That's not something you find in the Sonoma Napa areas. It was voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best tours on the Central Coast. There you have it. Eberly is located on 46 East in Paso Robles. Just log on to eberlywinery.com. That's EBERLE.com. Okay, it is 8 minutes past the hour. So it is that time of the morning when we like to hear from the critics. The moment of the show when we turn the conversation over to those experts around the globe whose specialty it is to know about fine wine, craft beer, restaurants, hotels, among other things. And today, we head up to the northern half of the state, Northern California, to talk 4th of July festivities and, at least in our guest's opinion, the best places you could visit in the coming week. We have a holiday week in front of us, which is fantastic. Susie Rosenberg runs the website discovernortherncalifornia.com and has a very active Twitter feed as well. Susie, welcome to the program.
Oh, hi, Susie.
How are you?
This is Susie.
Yeah, can you hear me, Susie?
I can.
Fantastic. Great to have you on the show. You know, I listen to you, or I don't listen to you, I read your Twitter feeds all the time, and you have such great information.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here, Randall.
Well, okay, so your goal was to give me the top 3 locations in Northern California where people could spend their 4th of July holiday, and for several reasons. And what do you pick?
Well, I don't think there's anything better than watching fireworks over a large body of water.
Right.
So my top pick has to be San Francisco. They have probably the only twin fireworks display that I know of. Oh. Not only in Northern California, but anywhere. They have fireworks off of Pier 39 and also out of Aquatic Park. And they're synchronized and going off together and everything. It's just a great place to see a terrific fireworks display all reflected in the water.
And you could see that from several locations, too. It's a nice chunk of waterfront there to kind of spread it out a bit.
Absolutely. All up and down the Embarcadero, you get great views. Coit Tower is a wonderful place to go because it's up higher, and so you've got an overview of the water.
Yeah, suggestion might be to walk up to Coit Tower. Don't try to find parking up there. You'll be out of luck.
Yes, I think that's probably a very good idea.
Yeah, and then the one thing with San Francisco, and I would have to agree with you, Susie, it is such a great place to see 4th of July fireworks. Just cross your fingers that the fog's not in, or you'll just see a colored like marshmallow puffs in the sky.
Very true, and I'm always telling people that summertime is not the best time to go to the coast in Northern California because that's when we have the most fog.
Right, exactly. So what's number 2 on your list?
Number 2 would have to be South Lake Tahoe. They have the Lights on the Lake show every year. It's the largest synchronized light show in the West.
Really?
Yeah, and it's visible from all over town. You can also go out on the paddle wheelers. They have dinner cruise and fireworks cruise on the Tahoe Queen and the MS Dixie.
Susie, are one of those boats the one that has at least a small portion of it is glass bottom?
You know, I'm not sure about that, Randall.
That lake is so unbelievably clear, and there have been efforts for years to keep it that way.
Yes.
I know that there is a glass bottom boat that goes out of South Lake Tahoe there, and it's really worth it because I don't know, at night you probably can't see very much, but
maybe not at night.
You know, when I was a child, I used to water ski on Lake Tahoe. We went up there quite a bit. My grandparents lived up there, and it would actually be a little bit frightening as a kid on skis because you would go over areas where there are large boulders under the water, you know,
and the water's so clear you can see about 75 feet down.
Right,
like that.
you know, so that was a little bit freaky as a child.
I can imagine.
And you didn't want to fall because the water's so cold. So I was far more conservative with my skiing on Lake Tahoe than I was on other warm bodies.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
It's a beautiful place.
And then for some down-home 4th of July fun, you have a fun number 3 pick.
Yeah, this may surprise a lot of people that it would be so high up on my list, but my adopted hometown of Chico puts on a great 4th of July party. It's kind of Americana at its finest. You've got your pancake breakfast and your horseshoe contest and fife and drum bands and pie eating and political stumping. Kind of think the musical State Fair sort of a thing.
Yeah. I bet that's great.
It's just great.
Hey, Susie, do you live in Chico?
I do.
So then you know that Kira Clapper just left the main station there. She had her last night on the air. And,
yes, I was watching.
I used to work closely with Kira here on the Central Coast. She left here, and this show was previously called Your California, and she was my co-host on that show as well. And so I just wish her nothing but the best of luck. She's moving to San Francisco with her fiance, and we'll keep you updated on Kira's travels. But I was watching her Twitter feed, and I know a lot of people in the Chico area were very disappointed to see her leave the anchor position there.
Very popular here, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Susie, you've got so many great tips, and I know you have a full top 10 of places to visit for the 4th of July on your website, which we've linked to eatdrinkexplore.com. Just go to the program summary. It's all there, including your Twitter feed, and I highly recommend following Susie if you want great information on Northern California. Susie Rosenberg, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Randall.
Very much appreciated. All right, when we return, our destination segment takes us to Europe as we speak with our very own Patty Pyburn. She'll be joining us from a quaint village in western Spain, unknown to many American tourists, but well worth a visit. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network, and we're discussing all things food, beverage, and travel on this Saturday morning. Back in a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. And a very good Saturday morning to you, and hope your morning is off to a relaxing and enjoyable start as always. I'm your host, Randall White, as we discuss food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism every Saturday at this time right here on this very station. You can also grab the show on the go via your Apple or Android device with our handy app, and we're really getting a lot of great comments regarding the app, so people seem to like the video simulcast there. It is time now for our weekly destination segment when we focus on towns, cities, parks, trails, mountain ranges, you name it, locations worthy of receiving a little extra attention in our opinion. And this week, I'm exceptionally jealous of our guest, the lovely and talented Patty Pyburn, who is, as we speak, in Europe enjoying the Western Spain countryside in a quaint little seaside village. Welcome to the program, Patty.
Randall, is Todd Lipscomb, founder of Made in USA.
Oh, you know what, Todd? Oh, yeah, I am a full segment ahead. I'm so sorry.
Not a problem at all.
That was such a great intro, too.
God, it's still early, and I barely have had my coffee.
All right, so wait. let me rewind here, and I'm going to say, okay, so hope you're enjoying your morning thus far. I'm always on the hunt for American-made products. Sadly, it's harder than it should be to find such economy-supporting items at chain stores, but online it's a bit easier, especially with the help of my next guest website, Made in the USA Forever. Joining us now to talk about some American manufactured products that fit our themes of Eat, Drink, Explore is Todd Lipscomb, who I believe is down in San Clemente, California. Hey, Todd.
Hey, Randall. Randall. Great to be here today. Thanks for having me.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
So I love your website, and I use it at Christmas time to try, as I may, to fill my Christmas list full of things made in the United States. Why has it become so difficult to do that?
Well, I was in the corporate world before I founded this company, so, I saw from the inside, and you know what, I was actually stationed in Asia twice for Western Digital.
Oh,
and it's really just about short-term greed, sadly, that we can get something for, a penny cheaper abroad, made in conditions that we wouldn't find acceptable or whatever, and sell that. But the long-term effect is that our own customers here in the United States, our own middle class, end up losing their jobs and their ability to buy that stuff in the future. So I decided to take the bull by the horns and, start a company that would hunt down American-made products, the vast majority of which are small family-owned businesses, and we have over 580 on the website, madeinusaforever.com now.
That's great.
It's growing like crazy, as you know.
It has been. I've noticed that it's grown over time, and that's good to know as well as you discover new products and as new manufacturers get on the market. What
Absolutely.
do you think the one area is, and I think I know what your answer is going to be, the one area where it's nearly impossible to find something that's made in the United States?
Oh, on the electronics, it's just a nightmare, Randall, as you know. I mean, it's, for example, there's not a television made here. There's somebody that's screwing on some frames and stuff like that, but there's nobody making the picture tube portion, the LCD, which is really the key technology.
Yeah.
And the reason is these Asian nations just made it a priority, and their governments partnered with business and took it from us. And we need to get smart about it. Start making those items here, too. They're important.
Right. I'm a huge fan of Apple. I don't think that's any surprise to our listeners.
Sure, me too.
It's funny when I open the products because it says on it in big letters, designed in California. And I think, yeah, but where did you make it? I know it was designed here because I've been past the Apple campus up in Cupertino many times.
Sure.
I think it would be a huge wise marketing move by Apple to at least start manufacturing one of their products here, and they could be the standout. They're already like set apart from the other companies, but why not really set yourself apart and start making some of your products here in the United States? That'd be great. All right, now let's get to our topics at hand, which are eating, drinking, and exploring. And you have set aside some products that are on your site that fit those categories.
Absolutely. For example, we have some maple syrup that's produced on a farm in upstate New York and sent directly from them to the customers when they purchase it. And, people just rave about it, too. I mean, it's so different from the syrup that folks buy in stores.
It is, and you have to go up into New England at some point and watch that process where they drain the sap from the trees. It's really remarkable. You see these tubes everywhere.
Yeah, then we have another one, Kanepalia Estates, which is coffee grown in Maui on what used to be a sugar plantation that they've converted to growing coffee. I mean, you can see the pictures on the website. I mean, they're just right on the ocean, so they're getting that wonderful clean air, wonderful soil, and people just rave about this coffee, too. And again, this ships directly from the farm itself. So, with the store shelves, first of all, you don't know where that coffee's coming or what conditions it was grown under. Secondly, you don't know how long it's even been there. But with these, it's literally harvested, roasted locally, and sent by the people that own the farm to the people that buy it directly. And
we love a good cup of coffee here on Eat, Drink, Explore. I had a challenge back in February to be a locavore and buy everything within. I gave myself a pretty wide, 300-mile radius. Surprisingly, Todd, and you might want to check this out, I found a coffee grower and roaster in Santa Barbara County.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Right here in California. Yeah.
I'll be damned.
And so I'll try to send you some information. I believe it's on our website.
Cool.
So that maybe you can contact them. That would be great to get them on the site. Okay, what else do you have for us?
There's a cherry farm that's actually doing a lot of neat stuff up in Oregon, too, where they make their own jam, make their own chocolate-covered cherries, and they're just a lot of fun. They have really cool gift packs, too. And again, it's something so different when it's right from the farm. even their dried cherries are just so luscious compared to these dried cherries in the store. It hasn't been sitting around on shelves, God knows where for months. It's coming from the people that really grow it.
That is fantastic. I like that. Do you have anything along the lines of outside the agricultural realm where you would use
absolutely.
To serve some of these things, plates and glasses, and we still make some of those things and some high quality ones, I believe.
Yes, absolutely. We've got a wide array of plates and glasses. If people want something, that they don't have to worry about going outside with, there's a company called Preserve doing some wonderful things with recycled plastic. But if they like something like, real tableware or even teapots or something, we've got several suppliers on the website that are, making wonderful plates. One of them hand paints every piece themselves.
Really?
Dishwasher safe, microwave safe, all of this. They use U.S. clay, so no one has to worry about leaching of chemicals into their food.
Right, yes. We've heard in lead and so many other contaminants that we've heard on products that are made overseas.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have got some neat clothes. We just added some safari-style clothes, actually, from a maker called Stan Ray that are on the website there. I know you explorers like to get out and you need the gear to do it. So there's clothing made here out of USA fabric. So, so many people touch it when it's made here, from the farmer that grows the cotton all the way through that last person that sews it. And every one of them gets a job because of this effort.
That one hits close to home for me. My in-laws had a clothing manufacturing company in the L.A. area. They made many of the name brand jeans that we know, like Lucky Brand and Sevens and such.
Cool.
They had to sell the business because it all moved overseas. So one of the reasons I'm so passionate about the topic. What about backpacks? I was in the I was looking for a new backpack about 6 months ago. I went to every store here in San Luis Obispo and could not find one made in the United States.
Well, it's amazing that you mentioned that, Randall, because actually we've got some very cool ones. Duluth Pack has been making their backpacks in Minnesota since, I think, 1880 or something like that. And we have a couple of others. Battle Lake Outdoors makes a little bit cheaper one out of nylon, but it's all USA produced too.
Right.
And people rave about those. And there's some other cool bags on there also. There's some fireman-style bags and others. There's some good ones out there that are still made, but check them out.
I love it, Todd. We only have 45 seconds left. I want to mention you have a book. What's the title of it?
Remade in the USA.
Remade in the USA. You sent me a copy. I've been so crazy getting this project underway. I haven't had a chance to pick it up yet, but I will. I'm going to read it, and I really appreciate your efforts there at madeintheusaforever.com. We have a link on our website. Todd Lipscomb, sorry for the mistake off the top there.
Thank you.
All right. When we return, we really are speaking to Patty Pyburn, who's in beautiful Spain. She'll be joining us from a little village there. You are listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network, where we're discussing all things food, beverage, and travel. I'm your host, Randall White, and we are back on this Saturday morning in just a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. All right, a very, very good Saturday morning to you. If you were listening 10 minutes ago, then you already know who our next guest is because I prematurely introduced her to the show. But regardless of that, I am super excited to be headed to Spain right now for our destinations segment. That is where the lovely, talented Patty Pyburn, who's typically in this studio with us each Saturday morning, happens to be located right now in the western portion of the country. Not a lot of Americans visit this part of Spain, and so we are for you, and we've got pictures as well if you're watching us online or via the app. Patty Pyburn, welcome to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio.
Hello, Randall White. How are you?
Good. Were you watching on the app? Did you see me make the mistake 10 minutes ago?
No, because I have to tell you, you were preempted by this fabulous traditional Spanish dinner that my aunt made that has pork and beef and chicken and greens and potatoes and sausage and chorizo and everything in it, and it was amazing, and I was too busy eating.
No, well, hey, I totally understand. And the great thing about a Spanish meal is that it will last for hours. There is no fast food in Spain. I remember going to a place in Seville, and got into a restaurant, and the people next to us had already ordered. It looked like they were wrapping up. We had our full meal, and I felt like we had been there too long, and they were still going strong. So I thought, wow, I need to get into the Spanish way of eating. It's a meal is an event. It is not something you go through a drive-through.
No, and they don't understand it when you want to rush. And the same thing I found was when we were in Paris last week, everyone moves at a different pace,
yes.
And it's almost that kind of idea like, oh, you Americans are in such a hurry. And you really just have to enjoy it. In fact, we have been out, since we've been in Spain, we've been out every night until 2 in the morning.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, because things don't even get started till later there. Don't make your dinner reservations till 10 at least, right?
That's exactly right. We've been meeting family at 9 or 10 o'clock for dinner. But you know what's really nice is this all goes along with a mid-afternoon nap, which is also not a bad lifestyle.
That's my schedule. You just named
Siesta.
All right, you mentioned Paris. I do want to start there because you shared some pictures on your Facebook page of a bridge called Lover's Bridge in Paris. Explain a little bit about that.
Okay, well, there's all these bridges that go over the Seine, and they're old, and they all have a story. We're learning so much about the city when we were there, but one that's really intriguing, and it's starting to spread to other bridges, but it started with one. And there's a story that if you make a wish when you're on the bridge and then you go under the bridge with your lover, you kiss the person, and then that wish is supposed to come true. Well, people have been putting padlocks on the bridge, and they have different things written on them or engraved, and they kiss and they throw the key into the water, and then that's love forever.
That's great. I
Isn't
love that.
Cute?
So they throw the key into the water and it becomes insane.
It is insane. Yes.
Never mind.
They are insanely in love.
They are insanely in love. I love that. You're very creative with your picture taking. I like the short field of focus on the one with the locks, and I don't know if your iPhone just did that randomly.
It was an iPhone, and I actually think that is Dresden, my daughter's photo that you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, and I think that's hers.
It's a beautiful picture. All right, now let's head back to where you are right now. Explain what portion of Spain you're in. Madrid is sort of dead center, right? Barcelona is in the lower right-hand corner on the Mediterranean.
So we're up at the top in the northern area near Portugal. It's Galicia, but they say Galicia.
With a like a TH, like they're lisping?
The sa, yes.
Galicia.
And we are in an area that's called Pontevedra, and specifically the little fishing village that we're outside of is Cambaro. If
does
you
that
roll
mean like,
your R's, you
does that
can
mean
probably
like
say it better than
Green
me.
Point?
Pardon me?
Does Pontevedra mean Green Point?
I think so. So Cambaro is a little fishing village. It's slightly reminiscent of Morro Bay.
Oh, okay.
That right on the water kind of, fishing is the business. But it's the architecture, the old stone houses built one on top of the other. Lanes, there are some lanes that look too small for cars to drive on, although they do navigate them. But there are lanes within this little village that you can just walk on. You could reach from arm to arm and touch the buildings on either side.
That's amazing. You find that in Europe, these little passageways, because they weren't designed for automobiles to pass through back in the day, And
they have cartwheels, grooves worn into the stone pathways. Randall, we were taken by my aunt and uncle, who, by the way, have an amazing rental cottage. You can find it on homeaway.com. That is, I can't even describe it to you.
We'll post a link, and we have some pictures that people can see if they're watching online.
Right. So they took us to this down a couple of twisty, turny lanes in the middle of this village, and we went to Vicenne's house. It's Vicenne As Viegas. It's not something you would find normally. He makes his own liqueurs and wines in unlabeled bottles. He basically we had a family meal. He said, here's what we're having tonight. We sat on his patio, and he served us a meal. It was the cheapest meal we've had, but probably one of the most delicious meals we've had. And it was tortilla, which is different. It's not what you think of, but a Spanish tortilla is made out of eggs and potatoes. It's almost like a frittata.
Oh, okay.
The peppers were grown in his garden that were right next to the table we were eating at. I'm not a tomato eater, but these tomatoes were amazing.
You're not a tomato eater, so if Patty is raving about the tomatoes, they were good.
He picked them right out of his garden. He's growing his own onions and everything. And it's funny because, we're now in the United States coming into this idea of having more urban gardens and growing your own things.
Yeah.
But these people in this area never stopped doing that, and dotted all throughout all these houses are little gardens everywhere. And I said, well, what's going on here? And my aunt says, oh, well, that's where they grow their food.
Right, that's fantastic. And we shared some of those pictures. I believe the pictures we have online are of this meal you're discussing.
Yes, it is.
And that's one of the bottles of wine on the table. Wine is served with just about every meal, and it's called just the village wine or the people's wine. There's no
I asked
label.
the Vicenne, the owner, I said, we were speaking sort of a Spanglish, if you will. I was trying out my Spanish. He was trying out his English. And I asked him what the wine was. I wanted to know if I could buy it. He was almost offended. No, he only serves it at his bar restaurant, which is his home. And he doesn't sell it unless you want to drink it right there on his patio. And I said, well, what's it called? And he said, Vino Blanco.
White wine.
Like, what else would you call it?
It's similar.
And from his grapes that are growing next to his house, and he makes his own wine.
It's similar to the small brew pubs we have popping up all over California and America today, where you can only get the beer there at the place where you're eating. In this case, it's wine, and it's a restaurant first, and then the wine comes second, but they serve their own. And you're right, it's delicious. And in some cases, it comes in a big clay pitcher, which is a lot of fun, too. I love when wine comes in a pitcher.
Yeah. So it's just one of those amazing things if you kind of get off the beaten path, and especially if you know someone in the area, you get clued into things that are not where all the tourists go. And this is just such a beautiful area. And, I mean, we're spotted for tourists immediately. I can't tell you, people come up to my aunt and uncle and say, oh, Americanos.
Do they mention something about you that, is it because Quillen's wearing sweatpants, or like, is there one specific thing that they can spot an American?
Yes, Quillen, actually, my son observed that he was the only person he had seen on our trip wearing basketball shorts, athletic shorts, long past the knees,
right,
or a hoodie. I haven't seen anyone except the American kids wearing hoodies, and he's wearing his Arroyo Grande high school hoodie. So we do completely stand out here. And it's funny, but in the area that we're in, the people are friendly and they're intrigued. They want to talk to us and they want to try out their English. And I've actually been realizing I know more Spanish than I thought I did.
Yeah, well, you know, living in California as long as you have and growing up in Arizona, you just have a natural backlog of words in your head, lexicon, I guess. So along the Mediterranean coast, down by like Malaga and Valencia, there are a lot of British expatriates that move there when they retire because of the climate there along the Mediterranean. There isn't much of that in northwestern Spain?
Not as much. I've seen a couple where we actually heard someone speaking English, and we said, oh my gosh, that guy over there with the sweater tied around his neck, looking really distinguished, is speaking English. You know, that really sticks out. And then we saw another gentleman driving a Porsche with the steering wheel on the other side. You know, here they drive just like we do, but in England they were all driving on the other side with the steering wheel on the other side. So this was a English Porsche, and the guy was, you know, zooming up the coast. So there are a few, but it really is just, you know, locals. They're people who are living like they have for centuries, fishing, and we've been to some amazing places. There's this incredible market here in Pontevedra where it's all fresh seafood that's gotten right here, brought right off the shore, and it was just, I mean, I was looking here, I thought, oh, I want that, no, I want that, no, I want to make that.
And that's the choices. Atlantic, right? You're up against the Atlantic.
Yes, we are on the Atlantic,
So, you've been to two large cities, London and then Paris, and now you're in this quaint countryside. You have a couple of teenagers with you. Which do they prefer at this point?
My son said, Quillen said to me, if we come back here, I would like to not do so many things, and I want to come back here to this exact town and maybe do one other city, because when we were in London and Paris, we were at such a pace to run around and see the Louvre and see Versailles and see the Tower, you know, and it's a mix between, am I enjoying this, or am I just doing this to say I went here and I went here and I went here?
I saw the Mona Lisa.
The pace here is so much slower and relaxed and really enjoyable. We've had some incredible meals. The food is, you know, not what we're used to, so it's delicious.
They fry the whole fish.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, a couple of they serve fish all the time, and we were asking, well, what is this? What is this? And they're, I don't know, we caught it right over there. We're not sure what it is, but it's good.
Well, Patty, I got to stop you right there. Your son, always wise beyond his years, for sure, because he just summarized how I would like to do my next European vacation, and that is to just spend a couple of weeks in one location and not run around and just absorb the area. Patty Pyburn, live in Western Europe. We can't wait to see you when you return. And don't even think about getting us any gifts, but I'm a large.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Patty. Up next, our popular travel deals segment. And this week, we're getting the skinny on good cruise bargains. We're headed back to Europe, actually. Back in a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore.
You waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
That's right. You have waited all week, and a good day, everyone. I'm your host, Randall White, and it is time to hear insight from the best of the best, the gurus of bargains, the luminaries of budget travel. And this week, we hear from Drew Daly with World Travel Holdings. That is one of the nation's largest leisure travel companies, which happens to have a new website focusing on river cruising. Welcome to the program, Drew.
Well, thank you, Randall. I'm very excited for the opportunity, and that's right. There's lots of opportunities for your guests to experience the rivers across the world, specifically in Europe. So
I love it. Yeah, and I've never done a river cruising. We talked about it last week. We had Andrea Saxon from the Washington Post, and one of the picks she had was for a Viking river cruise. And I started looking at the video from Viking, and I thought, why have I not done this? It looks so beautiful, and it seems like more than the big cruise ships on the ocean, you get to experience the countryside a bit more with a river cruise.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, first of all, we're going to have to arrange for a special group for you and your listeners and put something together for you to experience.
That'd be great. So we could do a special bargain. If you're an Eat, Drink, Explore listener, you could join us on the cruise, and we could put together a big program like that.
Absolutely, with lectures and having you have host certain tours and options. We'd love to put something together, so we should talk offline about that at some point.
All right, done. I'm writing it down.
All right, I am too.
Currently, so that I love that. So since I haven't been on a river cruise, how exactly does it differ from a big ocean ship?
Well, the biggest difference, there's several differences, but it's really the amount of time that's spent in each destination. Also, it's a much more of an intimate experience for travelers. Like normally, the passengers on board vary about anywhere between 100 and 200 people. So obviously, that's a little bit more intimate, right?
Right.
Tours and excursions, like shore excursions, are included usually with the pricing.
Oh, that's a big difference.
It's a big difference, as well as you really get the opportunity to experience it's like culture immersion. So you really are in ports that are not overloaded with travelers from the big mainstream cruise ships. So you're really walking around the towns with the locals, getting to know the people in different countries, and it's a great experience overall.
And a lot of times on the large ships, like for instance, I've done the Mexican Riviera many times. You stop in Puerto Vallarta, and then when you get back on the ship, it's all English speaking again. You're right back with the cuisine you had when you left Los Angeles, and you only had the immersion in Mexico there for about 4 or 5 hours. I would imagine on these river cruises, it's staffed with people that are from the area more often.
It is. It's definitely, they're all English speaking on board the river cruises, but it's definitely locals. They actually bring on locals for entertainment. So most of the ships dock overnight, or even when they leave late at night, because again, it's calm waters. You're on river, so it's just a very easy sailing, if you will. But they bring local entertainment, and I was in Lyon last year in France, and they brought in silk screen experts that actually we had an opportunity on the ship to paint handmade silk, and it was just an amazing experience. So just to get to learn more about what the local drives the local trade in each area and get to participate in it as well.
Drew Daly's joining us right now with World Travel Holdings, and they have a new website. What's the name of the website that focuses just on river cruising?
Yeah, the website is cruises.rivervoyages.com. The brand is River Voyages. We launched it earlier this year, Randall, in response to the massive interest and explosion in the growth of this segment.
Yeah, where is it growing the most? Is there a specific river in Europe we're seeing the most new ships, or is it widespread?
Yeah, Europe is primarily the growth where we're seeing the river cruise market expansion, specifically the Danube and the Rhine.
Okay.
But there's a tremendous interest in some of the exotics like Vietnam, Cambodia, China, Amazon, Russia. There's one river cruise company that now has African. They're doing some rivers in Africa. So it's really these more exotic destinations that the river cruise companies across the board are seeing increase in sales and interest from their customers.
Are there theme trips where you can, say, learn how to cook a specific cuisine or visit a wine region or learn craft brewing, things along those lines?
Absolutely. Each river cruise line tries to put together theme events, whether they partner with wine vineyards, even from like Mondavi Estates, or if they're going to do like the Christmas markets in November, December timeframe.
Right.
But if you have or just wanted to learn about the different wines within the Burgundy and Provence regions in France, like what a great experience to be able to go down the countryside and visit vineyards that you would and experience the way they present their wine. And tastings and pairings that you would never experience anywhere in the U.S.
I'm salivating just thinking about it.
Oh, I know. I did it last year. It was amazing. So I highly recommend it.
With some wonderful locally made fromage. And are there affordable hotspots right now where we're seeing better deals?
There are actually, on average, though, just to consider, it's probably $300 to $400 per person per day for a river cruise, and then plus airfare. So when you think of it as it being your floating hotel that offers you all your meals and beverages as well, but the primary growth that you're still going to see is Europe. There is just an influx of capacity, more ships that have been introduced this year, and there will continue to be more river cruise ships introduced next year. Mm-hmm. As a result of that, there's just opportunities. So you can get 2-for-1 bargains, 2-for-1 airfare. Uh-huh. So Europe is, as you look at those exotic destinations, because there's limited number of ships there, the price points tend to be a little bit higher.
And you mentioned that all your meals are included, which is standard with the ocean ships, but your beverages are included. And if anyone has ever taken a 7-day cruise and at the end of the adventure you get your bill, you realize that bill can really add up.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that. But just to kind of dive further into the inclusion, so it really varies between the lines, but in all cases, your shore excursions, your meals, transportation once you get to and from the port to aboard the ship. Most now include wine and meal during meal services, like all meals, and right. Some even offer alternative dining on board. So wow. It's definitely exciting to see what the growth in this specific segment, because it really does provide individuals, families, or just educational experts the opportunity to experience some of the sites that you hear about from your textbooks when you were growing up, and you're all of a sudden present in these communities. So
I've found myself avoiding some of the excursions because I didn't want to pay the extra fee. I was already spending so much on the cruise itself. I thought, oh, can I really tack on a couple extra $100 to, go visit this mountain village or what have you? If it was included, I think I would find myself doing more things.
Oh yeah, and you want to. Like they have these devices. They're called Vox boxes, which is basically your listening piece, and it's all in English, of course. But it allows for you to still experience each tour on your own and not have to feel like part of a group, because you're still listening to the guide. And it's just a great way to see and learn about different historical sites. And if you wanted to, there's some of the river cruise ships offer free bikes. You can go on your own little bike tour of a local European city.
All right, Drew, we don't have much time left. What's the better times of year to experience one of these river cruises? I know you mentioned the holidays. I hadn't even thought of that, but summer, the big season?
Yeah, summer is definitely the big season, May, June, and July. However, spring and fall travel does have its advantages, like cooler weather, smaller crowds, and, of course, a little more savings on your cruise and airfare. Right. But the river cruises do run through Christmas and New Year's with the Christmas market experience. But it's definitely any time is a great time. It just depends on what works best for each traveler and interested party.
So it's cruises.rivervoyages.com. We have a link to that at Eat, Drink, Explore under our today's program summary, and the site will give you exclusive discounts. That's what it says right there on the site, and I believe it. We spoke with Drew Daly right now, World Travel Holdings. Drew, thank you so much, and we'll speak off there about putting together one of those packages. That would be fun.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the opportunity. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll follow up for sure on that special group.
Sounds good, Drew. All right, this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio brought to you by Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch. Dine under the oaks. It's beautiful. You're surrounded by rolling green hills. It's located just 3 miles from Highway 101 there in Paso Robles on 46 East, across from Eberly Winery. It's a fantastic place to go. It is the Paso Robles wine growing region's best kept restaurant secret. You'll want to head out there. They do a fantastic brunch too. All right, we're back with a full hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio that's coming up next. I'm your host, Randall White. Make it a great Saturday morning. Eat, Drink, Explore Media is your lifestyle information source. Our focus, food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism trends, with a slant towards sustainable and healthy options. Whether it's hot deals or tips for hotels and flights, an update on what's currently fresh at your local farmers market, or the latest restaurant and beverage news, we've got you covered from 8 to 10 each and every Saturday morning. Live on Crush 92.5 in San Luis Obispo County, and online at Eat, Drink, eatdrinkexplore.com. Also, check out our new free smartphone and tablet app. Simply search 3 words, Eat, Drink, Explore, either in Google Play on your Android device or in the App Store on your iPhone or iPad. This free app gives you access to contests, past radio segments, our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and you can watch live video of the radio broadcast while listening to it here on The Crush. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your source for the lifestyle you love. It's the top of the hour and time once again for the latest from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk.
Good morning, Eat, Drink, Explorers. I'm Curtis Cole.
Powers, here's a look at what's making news.
Foie gras fanatics in California are scrambling to get their last-minute fix before the delicacy becomes banned in the state at midnight tonight. California Senate Bill 1520 was signed into law by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 2004, allowing 8 years for producers and restaurants to prepare for the change. The law forbids the production and sale of products derived from force-fed birds, specifically their fattened livers. Starting tomorrow, those found in violation face fines as high as $1,000 per day. According to the LA Times, some restaurants are looking into offering foie gras, a vegan plate made from lentils, walnuts, and onions.
Some ancient French grape vines are being praised as national treasures. The Heritage and the Sites Commission in the Midi-Pyrenees declared a 200-year-old vineyard in France to be a national historic monument and will now be protected by law. It contains 29 different grape varieties, of which 7 have never previously been recorded. These newly discovered old grapes come from a long genetic line of vines that were thought to have been wiped out by an outbreak of invasive aphids. Scientists are working to preserve the genetic codes of these ancient vines in hopes of reproducing them for winemaking.
National parks are now facing a different type of threat: noise pollution. Northwest Public Radio reports that millions of travelers set their sights for national parks every summer, and among those are motorcyclists, who contribute greatly to the levels of noise pollution. The Natural Sounds and Night Skies Division for the National Park Service discovered that motorcycles can be heard up to 18 miles away and can disturb the habitats of countless animal species. In an effort to preserve the national parks, they are monitoring the sound levels in 70 parks around the country. They added that not all bikes are harmful, but specifically those that have modified exhaust systems that amplify the sounds. Looks like a future of riding through Yosemite National Park might involve a stock set of pipes.
The next time you book a trip online, you may want to consider which type of computer you're using if you own a Mac computer. You may be offered higher-priced hotel rooms than if you were using a PC. Orbitz Worldwide Incorporated has discovered that people who use Apple products to book hotels could be paying as much as 30% more per night. Their efforts to uncover consumer spending habits has revealed that companies gather information about users to determine appropriate price ranges and interests of customers. Orbitz added that trends show that Mac users are willing to spend more on hotels than their PC counterpart, which can lead to being offered the more expensive rooms or hotels. So next time you try and book a room, consider which type of computer you're using. And to avoid this future, you can adjust price range settings when searching for hotels.
National gas prices are seeing their lowest prices in more than 3 months. A AAA fuel gauge report shows that the average price of regular unleaded gas has dropped to less than $4 per gallon, with California fuel down to $3.78. A gallon of gas in San Luis Obispo was around $4.35 a month ago, but now it's dropped near the national average. It's great timing for all that summer traveling going on.
A new gene therapy technique may help people quit smoking. A study published by Science Translational Medicine shows that injecting a particular gene into the body can create nicotine antibodies that prevent its absorption into the brain, preventing its pleasurable effects. Scientists first tested what they are calling a vaccine on mice and discovered it successfully stops the effect of nicotine, and future application could help smokers kick the habit.
Historic heat is expected this weekend in the southeast. Record highs predicted at over 100-degree temperatures. Hotter than average temperatures are also expected in the Midwest as well as the Northeast. Here in the West, we won't be seeing much change, possible record highs in the Central Rockies, but continued mild temperatures on the Central Coast. That's the latest from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk. I'm Curtis Cole.
And I'm Nicole Powers. Stick around for the Eat, Drink, Explore live Saturday morning program with your host, Randall White.
Eat, Drink, Explore Media is your lifestyle information source. Our focus, food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism trends, with a slant towards sustainable and healthy options. Whether it's hot deals or tips for hotels and flights, an update on what's currently fresh at your local farmer's market, or the latest restaurant and beverage news, we've got you covered from 8 to 10 each and every Saturday morning. Live on Crush 92.5 in San Luis Obispo County and online at eatdrinkexplore.com. Also, check out our new free smartphone and tablet app. Simply search 3 words, Eat, Drink, Explore, either in Google Play on your Android device or in the App Store on your iPhone or iPad. This free app gives you access to contests, past radio segments, our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and you can watch live video of the radio broadcast while listening to it here on The Crush. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your source for the lifestyle you love.
Delicious, nutritious, and fabulously fun.
Is this real life?
Best of all, your comments.
That was real money saver. Thanks, Randall.
So did it work out for you?
Your hotel tip was spot on.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. But don't just sit there. It's an interactive program, honey.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Pick your pleasure. Tweet, chat, post, email, even call us on the telly. Whatever works for you. Our topics today, food, drinks, travel, and a whole lot more fun. So let's pop the cork on this thing and get the party started. Give it up now for our fantastic host, the wonderful and talented Mr. Randall White.
I think that's the champagne talking.
It typically is. Great to have you with us, everyone, on this beautiful Saturday morning. Glad you can join us for the show. It is hour number 2. I'm your host, Randall White, and we are coming to you live from historic downtown San Luis Obispo. I mean, we are in the heart of it. Every Thursday night, our windows look over the bustling Thursday night farmers market on Higuera Street. It is a great location. But you can get us anywhere you happen to be around the world online. Or if you happen to be in the San Luis Obispo area, you can catch us on Crush 92.5. All right. We are bringing you the latest on food, wine, travel in a healthy, fun, and sustainable manner. And straight ahead, we invite 2 doctors onto the show. One's a dietitian, and she'll be joining us right here in studio. The other is a major researcher to discuss a study released this week on low-carb diets. Everyone wants a magic pill. Is there one? We'll find out straight ahead. And cutting-edge science here on Eat, Drink, Explore. How about a new soda can that cools down by 30 degrees when you open it? I'm not kidding. Yeah. Goodbye ice chests and refrigerated soda machines. How about backpacking? You don't have to worry about keeping your sodas cold. And how is it for the environment? We will find out straight ahead. Plus, many California vineyards are working to be SIP certified, organic, or just simply sustainable. And one of the ways they achieve that is by using owls to control rodents. We'll introduce you to a San Luis Obispo man who is supplying the housing for those owls and helping wildlife here on the Pacific Coast in the process. It's really a pretty cool setup. We'll also run down a list of the top 10 locations to spend the 4th of July holiday. This is nationwide. Last hour we did Northern California. And we want to tell you that Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch this hour. The best kept secret on the Central Coast, Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch Golf Course opens 7 days a week for breakfast and lunch, happy hour daily from 3 until 6, and you can't miss their dinners. Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays only, so make your reservation. Located on Highway 46 East past Airport Road in Paso Robles. But right now, it is time. It's not the same if I don't play the music. Hold on one second here. It's, you know how you have several windows open, and here's the top 10 music. There we go. Okay, now it's time for the top 10. I really should plan ahead for that every week, but I don't. And specifically, the top 10 cities for holiday travelers this 4th of July weekend. Well, it's not really a weekend. This is one of those times when 4th of July falls smack dab in the middle of the week on Wednesday. So some people are taking this weekend as their 4th of July holiday plans, ending it with 4th of July. Others are starting it with 4th of July and running through the weekend, and others are taking an entire week. In my case, I just have off Wednesday. And I'm not even sure about that. But at any rate, we are joined by Nicole Powers, who you just heard the news from Nicole and Curtis. Great job, you guys.
Thank you.
They are our interns for the summer, and you're on, what, week 2 or 3 now?
I think we're on week 2.
Week 2, and how's it going thus far?
It's going really well. Curtis and I are having a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I really enjoy not having to write the news every week.
So it's a break for you.
And hopefully, passing along some information along the way so that when you start the school year again with Patty Pyburn, one of their instructors, you'll have more information. That's what internships are all about.
Definitely.
Sort of learning the ropes. Okay, well, this is our top 10 segment. As you know, I've brought you in on this one time before. Mm-hmm. And so these are the 10. They're all city locations. So Lake Tahoe's not included. Some of the places that you might want to spend a 4th of July holiday. Travelocity put this list together, and coming in at number 10 was our guest last hour's number 1 pick, and that is San Francisco. Great waterfront for seeing the fireworks, but as you know, you grew up in the Bay Area. That fog can ruin the.
It can, especially as she was saying, in the summertime, the fog is.
Yeah.
Is there, so.
And so those fireworks go up just high enough that they get obscured. Number 9, and this would be great. They have the Freedom Trail there and so much great food. Boston is, home to the original Tea Party. And some really fantastic history in the area. So what a great place to spend 4th of July. Have you been to Boston?
I haven't, no.
It's great. One of my favorite cities. It's sort of San Francisco East. If two cities were to have the same kind of vibe, one East Coast, one West Coast, but both rich with food and culture and that sort of thing, I think San Francisco and Boston would make the best connection. Maybe LA and New York would be a closer one for that. And it's kind of funny because they're both north of the larger city to the south, and I think they have that inferiority complex sometimes also, based on the attention that the larger cities always get. All right, number 8 is Seattle, and Seattle's a great city too. I never thought of it for the 4th of July, but it makes Travelocity's list here. And then a no-brainer is number 7, Washington, D.C. It's our nation's birthday.
It's the capital. So.
It's the capital as well, right? And it is. DC's one of my favorite cities. It's one of those public transit cities you can get anywhere on public transit. It's awesome. South Florida, that would include Miami and that sort of thing. I think that's just for people that want to take a vacation. Yeah. They're not really thinking about the 4th of July. Number 5 is Denver. I'm not sure when Travelocity put this list out, but Denver would be sort of a tough spot to visit right now with all the fires going on. Nicole, I took that Amtrak trip from the Bay Area to Chicago. We went right over the Rockies, stopped in Denver, and as we were leaving Denver and heading into the plains, I took a photo back at the Rockies. This goes back a couple of weeks now, and you could see huge smoke plumes.
Really?
These fires have been burning for some time. They really picked up in recent days, but boy, it's become tragic and deadly, sadly. Number 4 is Los Angeles, to our south. I imagine there's a lot going on there, but I don't think of it as a 4th of July place.
I wouldn't have thought of that either.
But heck, it's LA. It's LA. All right, number 3 is Orlando. So I imagine Disney probably puts on quite a show, right? Fireworks every night. I was down last year for 4th of July. I was in San Diego, and we could see the fireworks going off at SeaWorld, right, from our Old Town hotel, which was pretty great. Too bad San Diego's not on this list. Number 2 is Vegas. It's always a deal and always fun.
Right. There's always a party there. So.
They probably have fireworks all year round, one of the resorts. And coming in at number 1 is New York, with the Statue of Liberty as a backdrop. How could you not?
That would be a beautiful fireworks show.
Yeah. And I've never been there for the 4th of July. I've been there for a lot of occasions, but not the 4th of July. I went there for New Year's Eve, 1999 into 2000.
Wow.
And I was doing live reports from Times Square.
That sounds fun.
It was insane. And all I can say is do it once. and I'm never doing it again. I would much rather be with friends and family in a very intimate restaurant or location, somebody's home. To me, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, but that's how I prefer it. That's how I prefer to do it now. But New York is fun any time of year. Apparently for 4th of July, though, it makes Travelocity's top 10 list. All right, Nicole Powers, I'll let you back to your news gathering efforts. And we are headed into the commercial break. And just on the other side of that, we are talking low-carb diets with two people who really know what they're talking about, a top researcher in the field and a Central Coast dietitian. You'll want to hear their advice as we discuss a study that came out this week. I've seen it on so many different news sources, and of course everyone's like, cheering, oh, the low-carb diet, it totally works. Does it? We'll hear from two people that have their questions about it. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network live from San Luis Obispo. I'm your host, Randall White, and we're back in just a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. Welcome back to the program, everyone. On this Saturday morning, I'm your host, Randall White, and we talk food, wine, craft beer, travel, tourism, and the like at this time every morning. You know, a highly publicized study, if you watched any news at all this week, you heard about it, funded by the National Institutes of Health, came out this week in the Journal of the American Medical Association, saying that dieters who were trying to maintain a weight loss program burned, and in this study, significantly more calories eating a low-carb diet than they did eating a low-fat diet and, to some degree, a Mediterranean diet. Now, the study was rather small, with just 21 subjects who were fed diets that had the same number of calories, but the fat, protein, and carbohydrate content varied with each subject. Those on the low-carb version burned roughly 300 additional calories per day compared to those on the low-fat diet, and about 150 calories per day compared to those on the Mediterranean or the low glycemic index diet. Joining us now to discuss these findings is Dr. Susan Swadner with the Food Science and Nutrition Department at Cal Poly, of which I'm an alum, in studio this morning. Great to have you with us, Doctor. And also on the line is Dr. George Bray with the Pennington Biomedical Research Center and author of the response to the low-carb study in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Welcome to the program, Dr. Bray.
Good morning, and thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, fantastic. I think you're up in the Bay Area right now, aren't you?
That's correct. I'm over in the East Bay.
Well, welcome to California, and welcome both of you to the program. Now, Dr. Bray, I'll start with you. Can you sum up for us that journal response that you wrote?
Yes. You have two issues when you have a small study. One is duration. And the important thing for most individuals who are interested in diets isn't what happens in the first 2, 3, or 4 weeks, but what happens at 2, 3, 4, 6 or more months. And although there are small differences between these three groups in a beautifully designed studies, and I take my hat off to Dr. Ludwig and Dr. Ebeling. They did a very nice job with the design and execution, but they had by nature a short study, and projecting that out for the long period, we don't really find much difference between one diet or another. It's whether you stick to the diet. And adherence is really the major issue in getting the best out of your diet, not what the composition of that diet is.
So many people, Dr. Bray, when they get started on a diet, myself included, want to see rapid results in the beginning just to get them going. So in that aspect of it, it sounds like according to the study, the low carbohydrate version of the diet does give you that like initial sort of boom to your diet.
If whatever diet you adhere to well will give you the best effect. And when I see patients, my first question is them when they want a diet is, what's going to work best for you? And if low-carbohydrate diets are fine, Mediterranean diets are fine, low-fat diets are fine. They all work well. We'd done a study published 2 years ago looking at high and low protein and high and low fat over 2 years rather than 4 weeks. And in that setting, the prescription of one of those others, and they included the range of proteins in this study, didn't make any difference. So I agree with you. If you get whatever will get you started and what you want to stay to is what you need to do. And if it's low carbohydrate, that's fine. If it's low fat, that's fine too.
Now, low carbohydrate may give you that initial boost, but Dr. Swadner, is it the healthiest way to go about losing weight?
I guess I have a concern too.
I'm going to have you just talk a little more into the mic.
Thanks. Sure. They get a little extreme and they'll go very low carb, and we now have an RDA of 130 grams of carbohydrate a day for the brain to function, and people get into ketosis and they lose their appetite, so that helps them. But I actually have patients too, a lot of times I want to go gluten-free because that's the only way to lose weight. So they also go with the protein. And I really agree with Dr. Bray. Well, I have to. What an incredible expert. I look up to all the research that he does, and I feel honored to be on the show with him today. But I also have a private practice, and I find with my patients, a lot of times I'm like a coach. Their willingness to come in and see me, put the effort, the time in it, get the physical activity part. And what I like to do is work with a patient is see what their regular habits are, fine-tune them so they do get a healthy, balanced diet, but find out what time do they get up, when do they go to work, how many children do they have, what is their lifestyle, and then design a plan around what their life is about.
And would you agree with Dr. Bray that this is a long-term thing? This is not the first few weeks or the month or what have you?
Yeah, and I think what happens is I have patients that lost hundreds of pounds on and off. They go on a lot of certain diets. Let's say they go on a low-carb diet. They can't deal with it. Then they binge on carbs. They gain the weight back. They give up. Then they find another diet or a diet book, and they lose the weight, then they gain it back. But basically, it's making a lifestyle plan, and I sort of make it your food plan. And also, I change it with the clients. If their lifestyle changes, they don't like this, we change it. So you can't really fail on it because you just change it for what happens with the person. And diet, the word diet doesn't mean restrictive diet. It means what you eat every day.
Yeah, the word diet is a big word, and people use it in different ways, but maybe lifestyle should be supplemented in some cases for that word. Dr. Bray, Dr. Swadner here was just mentioning people who yo-yo diet, and I know that you are one of the premier experts in the nation when it comes to obesity. How dangerous is yo-yo dieting on a person's body?
Well, you would obviously be better off not to regain the weight you've lost, and maintaining that loss is a key question for all of us and how you can maintain that. We don't have any great successes, so unfortunately lots of people do lose and then regain. But I'd rather have them lose than not have gone through the loss, because they get the benefits of the lower weight for whatever period they stay there. Right. And one of the questions I've raised with some of my experts over the years is that if their new diet, which comes out almost every year, had a magic formula in it that allowed people to lose and maintain weight loss, there wouldn't be any market for the next ones.
Right. It's become a cottage industry, hasn't it?
Well, more than cottage, it's pretty big time.
I should say, you're right. I should say it's become a mainstream industry, losing weight in the United States, because we have a large portion of the United States that falls into the obese category. Where do you transfer from being just overweight to obese? What's the general percentage of weight over where you should be? Dr. Bray? Oh, yeah. The current criteria are something called a body mass index, which is your weight divided by height squared, which is a kind of complex number. But for someone of my height, which is 5'10", the upper limits of normal weight would be about 175 pounds. That's a BMI of 25. I'm 5'10", and I've got some losing to do.
Well, you got the next cut point is a BMI of 30, which is the line that demarcates obesity. And if you're 5'10" and you're over 210 pounds, then you're in the obese category.
Okay, I'm safe for now, at least in the window that you gave us, Dr. Bray. Dr. Swadner, I've heard for years, even when I was studying at Cal Poly in the late 80s, that calories in minus calories expended by your body is the only equation you need to know when it comes to losing weight. And you can massage all these different diets and numbers any way you want, but unless you restrict the number of calories and increase the amount of calories you expend, you're not going to lose weight.
I think that's true. And then I see patients where I have to increase their calories because they're deficiting themselves so much that they're decreasing their metabolism. Oh. So that's what you have to be careful. I had someone who actually was restricting because she had anorexia nervosa, and she was doing 700 calories a day. And she actually had her basal metabolic rate measured, and it went down from 1,500 calories to 700. Wow. So she was actually gaining weight on 1,200. So sometimes you have to look at their metabolic rate. But that is true. But when you look at you see a young girl at 17 gaining weight or not losing it at 1,200, but she was knocking down her energy expenditure to 1,000 a day.
Right. Well, what a pleasure to have both of you on the show with us today. I wish the segment was longer. Dr. Susan Swadner from Cal Poly, the Food Science and Nutrition program there, and Dr. George Bray with Pennington Biomedical Research Center, happening to be in California right now up in the Bay Area. Thank you, Dr. Bray, for being on the show.
Pleasure to be with you.
As well as you, Dr. Swadner. All the information we talked about today is online at eatdrinkexplore.com. Just click on today's program summaries. When we return, we're going to talk about soda cans that cool themselves. I'm not kidding. Some 30 degrees after they're opened. We're back in a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
Happy Saturday morning to you, and as always, we're glad you can join us as we discuss things food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism. In this case, it's soft drinks. There is a new product that will be hitting store shelves here in California ahead of most of the world that could very well revolutionize, really revolutionize the soft drink industry, let alone possibly beer, sports drinks, anything you want cold in a can. It is a self self-chilling can that drops the temperature of the product inside some 30 degrees. All you do is press a button just 3 minutes from the time the container is opened. Now, the idea, and even a product like this, has been around for more than a decade. The only problem was there were some serious environmental concerns when it was initially released. So the company took a different approach and brought in Professor Roland Cliff with the University of Surrey in England. This is the second time we're speaking overseas on this show today. Dr. Cliff's, or Professor Cliff's, I should say, specialty is industrial ecology in order to make the product work with the previous environmental hazards gone. In fact, by some standards, these new cans could possibly be more environmental than traditional cans widely in use today. Professor Cliff joins us on the phone now from Surrey. Welcome to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, sir.
Good morning. Good morning to you. Good afternoon here.
That's right. So let's talk a little bit about the process of making this can. It has been in the final production stages, you might say, for more than a decade?
Well, that's right. I first came into contact with it in 1998, actually.
And in 1998, there were some environmental concerns. What were those?
There were. The previous, the very first attempt to produce this self-chilling drinks can used a refrigerant. I mean, the idea is still pretty much the same. From the outside, it looks like a conventional 500 ml can, but there's an inner unit, which we call the heat exchange unit, which provides the cooling action. In the first version of the thing, when you release the pressure, the refrigerant evaporated. So pretty much like in a conventional refrigerator, that provided the cooling action. Right. The problem, and I absolutely do not blame the man who had the idea for this, the problem was that refrigerant had a huge climate forcing effect, so it represented a major contribution to global climate change.
Was it Freon or one of those?
It was an HFC, hydrofluorocarbon.
Okay, I see.
So, no, he'd very correctly used an HFC rather than a Freon in order to avoid the ozone impacts that you get with Freons.
And so now, over the past 10 years, you have been working to perfect a new version of this can, and what's the science behind that?
Right, okay, now the trick behind this one is that the inner can, the heat exchange unit, contains activated carbon. And the activated carbon has carbon dioxide adsorbed onto it at a pressure of up to maybe 5 atmospheres. So when you release the pressure, you do that by pressing a button on the base of the can. When you release the pressure, the carbon dioxide desorbs from the surface of the carbon, and that absorbs heat, which provides the action to cool the beverage.
And do I have my figures correct? It will drop the temperature of the beverage inside some 30 degrees?
That's it.
Wow, this just...
and the reason for that is that when you ask, if you actually do the consumer trials, what constitutes a cold drink, you find that people generally like the drink to be about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, that's about 15 Celsius to me. Okay. They like the drink to be about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, below whatever the ambient temperature is.
I see. I saw an article in... online when I was doing some research for this segment from Mother Jones, which is a progressive environmental magazine, who had initially released an article in 1997 sort of poo-pooing the idea of this can, saying it was an environmental disaster. But then at the very top of this article was a big note saying... an editor's note saying, when this article came out, the can was no good. However, there have been developments in the meantime that now make the can quite environmental. And I would imagine some of the environmental pluses of this would be all of the soda can dispensing units you see everywhere have to be plugged in and refrigerated the entire time. You could do away with that, right?
That's absolutely right. That's the idea. I haven't seen that particular article, but that's certainly the idea behind the thing. When we first started looking at the environmental profile of this product, we concluded that it's broadly the same in environmental terms as cans that are kept in a conventional refrigerator. But where you've got something which is thermally inefficient or badly maintained or even badly assembled, then this product wins.
Right, because of the leakage and whatever.
That's it. And if you look around at the sort of can dispensers that you see typically in filling stations, they have, a lot of the ones I've seen have no insulating surface on them at all. They're just open to the atmosphere. So there's a huge heat leak there, which means there's a large power draw. And if they're not well maintained, you get a leakage of refrigerant.
Yeah,
and that can be even worse than the environmental impacts of the power, of the refrigeration action.
I would hate to be in the ice chest industry hearing this information.
Well, or put it another way, what we're giving you is a way of providing dispensers which you don't need to plug in, which have a much better environmental impact.
Yes. It's Professor Roland Clift. It sounds like an amazing idea. I know you've been working on it for such a long time. It is your weekend. We are going to let you go. Professor Roland Clift with the University of Surrey in England. Thank you so much, Professor Clift, for joining us. I appreciate you getting to a phone for us today.
Okay, thank you. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to speak with you as well. And as I mentioned off the top of the show, these cans will be available here in the United States, specifically on the West Coast here in California, before they are available anywhere else as far as a retail push. Now, they have been testing the cans at different events throughout the world, including there in England and at several events down in Los Angeles over the last several months, maybe even the past year. But as far as a full retail rollout, that will be happening here in California in the coming days, as a matter of fact. We will be bringing on the show in just a moment here Mitchell Joseph. He is the Chief Executive Officer for ChillCan, which is the name of the company, and it's chillcan.com if you want to look it up yourself. And somebody who can explain to us how we may see this product in the coming days, months, years here on the Central Coast, whether it will be available anytime soon. He is he's an entrepreneur, and if he hits this dead on the money, I really feel it's a product that you will be seeing all over the place. They are headquartered down in Orange County, which may explain why California is one of the first places we will see this ChillCan. However, from what I can gather, you aren't going to see major products like Coke, Pepsi, and those sorts of things in the cans as of yet. They have their own product that is in the cans, and so maybe they're hitting this from two sides. They have their own product to push, and then they've got the can to do it, apparently, the ChillCan. And so let me just check with our producer right now if we have the CEO on the line. Do we have him yet? Not yet? Okay. Well, we're getting him there. And I went to their website. It is a drink called, let me just pull it up here really fast. Fortunately, I have it already in my favorites. And the drink in the can is called West Coast Chill. So that sounds very West Coast, doesn't it? And from what I understand, it is a low-calorie drink, which fits in with our previous guests who were talking about losing weight. And they use it's an energy drink, but they don't use any caffeine, which is a big thumbs up. In fact, they were just at an event that had an older demographic there, and everyone said, no, I don't want the energy drink with all the caffeine in it. And they said, no, this energy drink doesn't have any caffeine. And apparently some of the people in the crowd were coming back for seconds. At least that's what I was told when I called up to go ahead and book the CEO for ChillCan. We getting a thumbs up now? Okay. We are on hold currently with the a landline number for our office. Oh, okay. Hold on one second, folks. 545-0332. There you go. And so apparently the CEO needs to call us back with this information. However, you might as well just, you can just go ahead and cancel it because we only have a minute left in this segment anyway. So that's too bad. We were unable to catch up with Mitchell Joseph. Chillcan.com. We have the link at eatdrinkexplore.com so that you can. Oh, maybe we can get him on for one quick second here. If he's on, is he on the line? Sorry, folks. I knew that this would be a difficult one to switch from the guy in Europe to the guy here in California all at one time, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. No? Okay. All right. Well, coming up in the next segment, we are switching from soft drinks here in California to fine California wine and a practical vineyard product for controlling pests that's helping save Pacific Coast wildlife at the same time. You know, a lot of the vineyards here on the Central Coast are moving to more organic, sustainable, SIP certified, which look for the little SIP logo on bottles of wine that you buy here locally, because it really does say a lot about the efforts that the vintners themselves have put into making that wine. Well, this product, it's a twofer, and we'll explain why it is a twofer coming up. You are listening to Eat, Drink, Explore Radio here on this Saturday morning. And don't forget, you can get information on every single guest we had on the show at eatdrinkexplore.com, right under the program summaries. And if you haven't yet, download our app for the iPhone or Android products. I think it works best on the iPad. You can check it out there. And you can watch us live, because this is video simulcast as well on Ustream. We're broadcasting from San Luis Obispo County. I'm your host, Randall White, and we are back after this short break. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. And a welcome back to the program, everyone, on this Saturday morning. Great to have you joining us. Sorry, that last segment there, we were unable to get our second guest. That's too bad because I think the product sounds really interesting, but we really didn't get to learn that much about it. So they're bad, in my opinion. 9:49 the time. We just have 10 minutes left and just enough time to talk about owl boxes. And owl boxes are the new way to control, well, really maybe the old way to control pests in the vineyard, but certainly a way that it is picking up steam here on the Central Coast as wineries try to go more organic, more sustainable, more SIP certified. I'm your host, Randall White, and we welcome Walt Weller with his company, Central Coast Owl Boxes, to the program. Walt happens to be a neighbor of mine, and it's such a pleasure to have you here on the program, Walt.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you for the invite.
Every day I walk our dogs past your house, and we see these incredible birdhouses that you build from hand, and then along our, mile and a half walk, every other house seems to have one of your birdhouses in the yard. I love it. How long have you been doing the birdhouses?
Birdhouses for approximately 20 years.
For about 20 years.
Yeah.
And then what was it that made you transition into making owl boxes?
Well, I had a few calls one was from Pacific Coast Wildlife Care, and others were from friends that have vineyards. And it seemed like some of their existing owl boxes were in disrepair. Uh-huh. They wanted someone to work on them, make them, like new. That's when I figured, hey, I have an opportunity here to get into the owl box business. So
because aside from a mailbox where people just need one, and they probably have it, you build them pretty sturdy, so they're there for a long time.
Yes.
With owl boxes, you have a growing number of vineyards, a growing number of vintners who want these owl boxes. And the owl boxes are just a place to invite the owls. How does an owl know that that's their home?
Okay. They like the hole that's in the owl box. Mm-hmm. It's inviting to go in, and it could be a future home for them. But once they get in and they see that it's like a one-bedroom condo,
right?
They can come in and look at it, and then, of course, the male will go out and get a gopher or a owl or a rat or mice. They'll come and put it into the owl box or droop it over the opening and be a proud dad. He's saying,
"Look what I brought home!"
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So,
what's the number one pest when it comes to vineyards that they are trying to get rid of? Is it gophers?
Gophers, right?
Number one,
and they are incredible eaters of gophers and rats and mice and owls too.
If they weren't using owls, they would have to use some form of pesticide, right?
Right. Well, they do trap, and that's good. We'd like to see them use the traps over poison.
Right, for sure. Now, you mentioned the Pacific Wildlife Care. They are based in Morro Bay.
Correct.
And you have a very interesting arrangement with them. Describe that for us.
Yeah, the Pacific Wildlife Care has a campaign now for inviting new members in, and when they do join, they will receive a professionally well-structured owl box.
If you do say so yourself.
Yes. Because from Central Coast Owl Boxes.
So many vintners on the Central Coast who may have not considered joining Pacific Wildlife Care now have a major incentive to. If they're going to purchase an owl box anyway, why not just join Pacific Wildlife Care and get one for free?
Yes, correct. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So what does Pacific Wildlife Care do exactly?
Well, they basically rehabilitate and return orphaned and injured wildlife back to the natural status or environment. They also teach the public for the care and really just understanding wildlife and the care of those.
Right. And this could be terrestrial animals or sea creatures. It doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
And sometimes they're the victims of like a roadside sort of thing where they get hit by a vehicle. In other cases, it might be, some sort of trash that's in the ocean that they get caught up in or whatever it may be. They're rehabilitated there at Pacific Wildlife Care. And I imagine it's somewhat of a shoestring budget?
Yes, yeah. I think... the Fish and Game, I'd think, give them some budget,
right?
But yeah, it's got to be by donation and hopefully more money coming in from membership.
I was going to say it. Membership is a big part of that, and so the vineyards, or maybe you want an owl box in your own yard, or you have a garden or whatever you'd like to protect. I know the owls are out there because just last night, Ricardo and I were walking the dogs again right past your house, and we saw an owl that I would guess would be one of these barn owls. It has I guess maybe all owls have round faces, but it had like a whitish sort of round face and a nice wingspan on it. That was for sure. Just right down the street from you.
Yeah, owls are all over the place. I mean, they're in the trees, they're in barns, but what we're trying to do is make sure they have a healthy nesting environment, and their numbers will grow, and of course, then they'll take care of these rodents without the use of the pesticides.
Right. And do you need to make the box out of a specific type of wood?
Yes. What we use is exterior grade 3/4 inch plywood. And then once they're cut into the pieces that we will epoxy glue together, we also screw them in, countersink and fill, and 4 coats of exterior heat-resistant paint.
Oh, okay.
So they're made to last.
Because they're out there in the Paso Robles region where it can get really hot. Is that why they're heat resistant?
Correct.
Yeah. And because it does get, I just was driving through there 2 days ago, or it might have even been yesterday. And Paso gets on the warm side for sure. Yeah. And so how many boxes do you have out there now?
Well, we just installed 15 at a vineyard in Paso Robles.
Really?
Yeah. Dow Vineyards. I hope I can say their name.
Yeah, Dow. That's spelled what? DAOU,
yes,
and they make great wine. I've had it. Yeah.
Incredible wine, incredible. And the venue there is just incredible. They're going to be having the weddings, and of course their food and wine tasting is just fantastic. So, and a beautiful hilltop vineyard.
Oh, right.
Which made installation kind of a
trick?
interesting. Yes, yeah. We were carrying cement and water and all up and down the hills, but it was great.
Is there a specific number of acres where like one owl box per 1 acre? Or?
Okay, we just installed a residential home with just a small lot. If there's problems with rodents, 1 box will do in a small area. The larger, let's say we have 100 to 150 acres, probably 10 to 15 would be adequate. My philosophy is the more you have out there, you're working with numbers, and not all the owl boxes will be successfly filled with a family each year.
Yeah.
Some will have 2 nesting times. We're back to back in the same year. So it's good to get the numbers out there, but 15 to for 150 acres, that's good. They should be approximately 80 yards to 100 yards between each box.
Is there a best time of year to put them in?
Anytime. The best time is as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because the male will be attracted to the box, and then of course the female, after she's being treated with different rodents and that, they get acclimated during the summer, and then they will have their nesting time in spring. It's just the sooner you get it there, the better. You build it, they will come.
They will come, right. And you don't need to be a vineyard to take advantage of this deal at Pacific Wildlife Care?
No, you don't. They're sending out, as I mentioned, the invitations, I think, at this time to vineyards and different growers. But if you give them a call there, boy, I don't have their number just off the top, but if you give them a call, they'll put you in the right direction.
Yeah, good. Well, Walt Weller, my neighbor, and a really just upstanding guy who makes fantastic. You're still in the business of mailboxes too?
Oh, yes. And birdhouses, yes.
They're pretty amazing. So we've got all your information, your phone number specifically. I know that's how you like to work. We've got that on the website at eatdrinkexplore.com. We're back next week with a lot more great guests. Make it a fantastic Saturday. We'll see you.